Welcome to Theme Park Motivation. My name is Rich, this is my family, and we love theme parks. So today I want to talk about the Access Coaster built by S&S. This is a prototype, and I think it's a phenomenal design. I think it has a lot of great features about it. However, there's some flaws that I can see with this. I just want to say, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, even if you don't agree with what I have to say, I really do appreciate it. It really does help. I'm going to say some things that a lot of people probably won't agree with, but it's just my opinion. Before I really just bash this coaster and tell you why I don't think that this coaster will end up in America, I'm just going to let you know that I absolutely love S&S. I think they do a phenomenal job. I love almost all of their coasters that I've ever been on here in the United States. I would love to get overseas and get on in Jamaica. From the looks of this coaster, I just don't see how any park would really be interested in getting a coaster like this. And here's the reason why. Money, of course. It is always the reason why we will not see a lot of these different concept coasters come over to the United States. I could, however, see one of these end up in like Japan, possibly. I also hear that there's plans to add one of these in Europe, but this thing is going to cost a fortune. I could only imagine it would be in the probably $20 to $25 million range, and this is a very small scale model. When you look at Inchinaika over in Japan, it is a very large coaster, and it cost roughly $32 million to build, and that was in 2006. So with an 18-year difference, if somebody was to build this exact coaster today, it would probably cost upwards of $40 million to build. That's one of the reasons why I don't see a coaster like this coming to America, because yes, it is a much smaller scale ride than Inchinaika, no doubt. When you look at just all the troubles that S&S coasters have, I don't know of any troubles that Inchinaika has. Obviously, I'm not over there in Japan, so I wouldn't know if it has a lot of downtime or not. But I do know one thing, that X2 has a lot of problems. It's constantly having maintenance issues. And yes, we know that S&S did not build X2. However, they're kind of responsible for it, being the fact that they were the last to lay their hands on this thing. And pretty much they've been responsible for this coaster ever since 2002, after they purchased the bankrupt company Aerodynamics. And obviously this thing's been prone with issues for years. It just doesn't sit very well with a lot of these parks. If I'm a CEO of one of these parks, you're looking at B&M. For crying out loud, you're even looking at Intamin before you're looking at S&S. And that's not to bash S&S, but quite honestly, I look at Steel Curtain, and this thing was built in 2019. So it's 4 years old. 5 years old roughly, and it's already having structural issues. I mean, come on. I also hear that they are having issues with the trains as well. I don't know how true any of this is, but I do know that Kennywood released a statement saying they were having some maintenance issues with this ride and they were going to try and repair it. However, it was pretty much closed the entire remaining season for 2023. It was only open a few short months, and that was it. This coaster cost roughly $22–23 million to build. All I'm saying is, I think they're phenomenal coasters. Do not get me wrong. I would love to get on a Max Force, a Steel Curtain. However, they're so unreliable. And what it really comes down to is return on investment. And let's just put it this way, Max Force, $19 million. The ride lasts 27 seconds and it's over. Now, it's quite the experience, I'm not going to lie. I think it's an incredible ride. But you look at Air Force One at Fun Spot in Atlanta, $19 million to build. And it is a much more complete coaster. Obviously, totally different style of coaster, but you kind of get the point. Not a lot of bang for the buck. So I want to talk about another issue that I see with the Access coaster. This particular prototype here and model that they are showcasing, it has a capacity of 12 riders per train. And I gotta say, that's just not gonna be enough for any large theme park. They are not gonna want to put one of these $22, $23 million coasters in their parks with that small of a capacity. It's just not gonna give these parks what they need. So if you're talking a smaller park, like say Holiday World or one of these family owned and operated parks, I don't see them even being interested. They're not going to want to spend $22, $23, $25 million on a coaster like this. A lot of these parks are going small. They're looking at these 4D free spin coasters, which my opinion are very pricey for what they have to offer. I mean, the capacity is terrible, the reliability is terrible on these things. They're always breaking down. But from a standpoint that they run from $7 to $9 million, you can kind of guess where I came up with my estimate on how much one of these Access coasters would cost. If one of these models cost $9 million, I would think the Access would be around 20 or higher. Like I said, I'm really not trying to bash S&S because I think what they bring as a ride manufacturer cannot be duplicated whatsoever. So there's three main reasons why I do not see the Access coaster in any of the parks in the United States. One being cost, reliability, and capacity. So take a look at Spin Shot. This can go on an existing drop tower. So why haven't we seen one? Well, I think that it's because parks do not want to invest in some of these attractions built by S&S because of their reliability issues and mechanical issues. I would love to see one of these Access coasters. However, I just don't see it happen in the United States. But those are my thoughts on this coaster. I want to know what everybody else thinks. Feel free to comment below. Make sure you hit that like button. And if you love theme parks and roller coasters, that's all I do. We go to dozens of theme parks around the country every year, and I really do appreciate all the support. And if you wouldn't mind just hitting the subscribe button, that always helps as well. Thanks everyone. I hope everyone has a wonderful day.